that
Yeah,
kind of affects the civic aspect. Because if you're burnt out,
absolutely.
how the heck am I
Absolutely.
supposed to get involved now with policy? I can barely
Yeah,
walk
yeah,
leaving work, and I got stuff to do at home because I'm a dad or you're a
yeah,
mom or whatever, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
supposed to now be involved, go to the meetings, and it's that's difficult. It's very
It is
difficult.
difficult. It is difficult. And I am fully aware of this. I think I was in a point in my life,
Well, I
in
know
my
you are.
profession where I had a bandwidth to do this. I mean, like, if the situation was different, no, my focus would have been something else. And you being an ER nurse, or I have nurse practitioner friends or people in ICU. I mean, there are going to be ICU nurses. There are going to be and then pulmonary nurses. I am very aware of the fact that I am never going to be an ICU nurse.
No,
But what
I'm
I
not going to
can
be either.
do, but what I can
I like
do,
to change the rapidity,
yeah,
in and out. Well, not really in and out anymore,
yeah,
unfortunately. You'll get people in the emergency department for a couple of days now waiting for a bed,
that's
but
true. That's true. Yeah. But I mean, it's like, I think those nurses that have the the capability to advocate and speak. I mean, definitely, please be the voice for our profession, because you got people doing very important work at the bedside, doing research, doing, those kinds of things, education, bringing nurses in through nursing school. But, there are enough of us, close to like 5, 6 million of us, where even if you had a small percentage of nurses that advocate on behalf of the profession, that's going to make a difference. So definitely what I do it's not a one person job. Like the more I can kind of just share my mission and share, why I think it's important, you inspire other people to do this, and you got more of a voice. And you talked about going to Washington, D.C. and talking about ratios. And nobody's gonna know what we do as nurses unless we're telling the stories.
that's
And
how
like
I
you
feel.
said, yeah, you have to just tell the stories. I mean, patients tell us stories all the time, and you
Yeah,
might
it's not
help.
griping. It's
No,
because I feel like, not to cut you off, there's a lot of people online that just love to complain or
yeah,
accuse or burn things down. I feel I have an obligation to my profession and to the patients. That also
yeah,
doesn't mean that I don't have my share of questions and skepticism about where things are
yeah,
coming from. And but it's not to tear the thing down. It's not to just be negative. It's certain things have to be said. It seems like sometimes from like the leadership, there's this need to portray how things look in a certain way, and we're supposed to pretend that it's hunky dory, you know,
yeah,
like some conference was there, and we spoke at a conference, or we had a party, or we're here hosting this event, and like, isn't everything great? And you're such a great nurse, and you guys, this team is amazing. And yet at the same time, maybe that team consists of 6 nurses in a department that should have 15.
yeah,
But there's this pressure to, who's going to say something, who's
yeah,
going to
yeah,
single themselves out
yeah,
and actually voice maybe an issue. Like
yeah,
there's not enough people that work here to take care of the
yeah,
the load that we have. I've worked at places where nobody took a break, and it wasn't encouraged by leadership to take a break, even though you're going to lose an hour of pay anyway because you're supposed to take
yeah,
a break. And
yeah,
it was so poorly organized. Like, I work at a
yeah,
place now that's amazing. They have they have a float nurse staff that breaks everybody, and they give you your
yeah,
hour and your 2 15 minutes together. You get an hour and a half
yeah.
break, and it is amazing what they do.
Great.
I have not encountered that at many places. And you'll get your
Hmm.
break. Maybe a nurse will take over your section,
Hmm.
which again is kind of crazy because maybe that nurse has 10 patients and you have
Yeah,
8 or 9. And now she's watching or he's watching yours and theirs. So of course you come back to work and nothing's done.
I know what you
Uh,
mean. Know what you
but
mean.
but again, there's this pressure, I think, or
Hmm.
this expectation that we're supposed to reflect our working environment a certain way, and it seems as though it's controlled by the lens of the higher ups.
Yeah, yeah.
It's what management wants it to look like, and
Hmm.
who's going to be the nurse to say something.